What's going on, everyone? Designedcoma here, welcome back. And the gameplay you're watching is me playing some Domination on Black Ops 3. So, what's up for today's video? Well, I have a couple things I want to talk about. The first thing is, in one of my previous videos, I did mention, a few things, of my ideas as to, what the next installment of Call of Duty is going to be from Infinity Ward. And the fact that I feel like exoskeletons are probably going to be in it, and this is just my opinion. And the reason I say this is because, in past Call of Duties, if you're not aware of it, sometimes they tend to base the storyline, or the campaign, the story for the campaign, off of, some real world events. They kind of add them in there. And kind of put their own little twist on it and build off of it and things like that, and work it into the story to give the story some substance. But I know Black Ops 3 wasn't necessarily in those lines. It was more of the exoskeleton, cybernetic type research and development that might be going on with the military. Now, don't get me wrong, the military does pursue, exoskeleton use within soldiers. It's just one of those things that we don't necessarily get to hear a lot about. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I came across this article from USA Today, and I'll have a link in the description for this for you guys to check it out. And it's about a Marine who is a paraplegic, and he has no idea. He has no idea how this happened. Okay, but because of this exoskeleton that he's training with and testing, he was able to walk in his own promotion ceremony with the help of this exoskeleton. Okay, now this is really cool. It's really awesome to see how advances in technology are working their way into the medical field. I love seeing things like this. It's really, really cool. Now, because years ago, if this had happened years ago, he'd basically be stuck in a wheelchair. He would be wheelchair bound is where he would be. So because of this exoskeleton, he is able to walk. Now, he's not able to walk, like me and you, but he actually can walk. He has the assistance of a walker, but for the most part, he can get around halfway decent, but in time, with more training and things like that, he should be able to start getting around almost normally, like anybody else. And he's not the first person to have an exoskeleton. I'm going to kind of go through the article a little bit and just pull little bits and pieces, but so let's see. His injury, he sustained a fracture to his 7th cervical vertebrae. Okay, and that's the lowest bone in your neck. At 21, he was an aircraft rescue and firefighting specialist in the Marines, and he basically has little use of his arms, none of his legs, and basically his prognosis is, indeterminate, for mobility. There's a chance maybe he will get his use back. There's a chance he may not. But he has no idea how this happened. No clue whatsoever. He's like, 1 minute he was talking to his sergeant in a hotel room, and then it's the next day he is on the ground outside the hotel being rousted by an employee, and he can't move. He can't do anything. So it's just crazy to think that he has no memory of what happened. And that really kind of stinks. Not to know how you lost the use of your legs. You have no idea. So let's see, we go on to let's get on to what his staff sergeant said. His staff sergeant says he's humble, he's tough. If anyone can do it, he can. His motivation improves every day by leaps and bounds. And his brother happens to be the Marine Staff Sergeant that is saying this. So it's pretty awesome. You know, as I said, he's not the only one who has had a exoskeleton. There is another person who became the first owner of an exoskeleton, but it's called a Rewalk. This is an approved FDA approved device for home use. This thing runs about, it runs 70 grand. It ran nearly $70,000 for the Marine. He raised funds to purchase the device, and he was paralyzed by a sniper's bullet in Afghanistan in 2012. So, you know, like I said, it is a great article to read. It really is, because I mean, you know, I really love hearing stories and reading stories about, you know, our servicemen. You know, I was in the service myself. I served in the Army, you know, quite a number of years ago. But you know, when I get to read about articles like this, and it's even great for, you know, anybody, you know, not necessarily just military, but it's really awesome to see things like this taking place in our world, you know, because there's so many things going on that just drive everybody crazy and insane. It's really nice to read about something where excuse me, where you know, advances in technology are just literally helping people walk. You know, this is really cool. So I'm going to leave, you know, like I said, I'll have a link in the description to the article. There's a little video you can watch of him getting around, and you know, he kind of talks a little bit about, you know, what happened. Basically, he doesn't know what happened. Ultimately it's just, I don't remember. I won't, you know, one day I was all fine and dandy talking to somebody, and the next day I'm just outside laying on the ground. So I hope you guys enjoy the article. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, and this is really kind of, I don't know, this is weird. This is something weird that's going on, and I'm sure it's just, you know, a whole kind of shock situation, you know, and my brain has to reboot and all this kind of stuff. But lately, you know, since my mother passed away, you know, and it hasn't even been a week yet, and I know I've talked about this a couple of times, but lately, the last few days, it's been like really weird. It's been this strange fog, and it only happens once in a while. It's not like it happens in the morning and it lasts all day or things like that. It's just every once in a while during the day, and it's not every day, but you know, and it can happen a couple times during the day, where I'm just sitting there, and I swear it feels like my brain just kind of turns off. You know, like all the processes just stop. You know, like the memory's full, and I'm getting the blue screen of death. And it's really weird, because you know, and it's not like I stay in this state or anything. It's the strangest thing. It's really bizarre, and I don't know, maybe it's something normal, maybe it's not. But I'm not super concerned about it, because you know, it's not really affecting anything in any way. It's just it's really weird, you know. It's like this bizarre fog, you know, like I'll be thinking clearly about something, and the next thing I know, I'm just in this fog of, what the heck was I doing? What was I talking about? What, you know, and then I have to kind of reboot the brain and go, oh, okay, that's what it was, you know. And you know, and I went over to my dad's house, you know, and I keep calling it my parents' house, you know, and it's probably going to be a little time before that stops. I don't know. I think I'll just keep calling it my parents' house, because it's still my parents' house, regardless of my mom not being there. But you know, it was really weird walking into my parents' house the other day because it was the first day I went to go visit my dad since the funeral, and when I walked in, it was just bizarre because my mom was in in-home hospice care, and her bed was in the front room, and it wasn't there anymore, and she's not there anymore. It was so weird, and I can tell my dad's kind of having some rough nights and stuff. I got there and the house was just all dark, and my sister's there with him, but it was just dark, so I don't know. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like, favorite, and subscribe, and go ahead and throw some comments, and I will catch you guys in the next one.